Hi guys, and welcome back to the Yoga Doc. I'm Leah Deutsch, founder of the Yoga Doc. Today we're going to be doing a more active vinyasa sequence. So this is a really good one to open up through the shoulders, a bit of strength in the thighs. It's about 10 minutes in length. So what I would recommend before you start this is to do a little bit of a warm-up. So either using one of the static warm-up sequences that are on my YouTube channel, or just taking a few moments to do your own little warm-up, because if you come into this cold it could really strain through the legs and the shoulders here. So really important just to take a few moments to do that beforehand. Otherwise, let's get started. So coming on down to the floor, we're going to start today in child's pose before we move up into the standing sequences of a vinyasa flow. You may already be in child's pose if you're joining from one of the warm-up sequences in my earlier videos. So walking your way down towards the floor, knees wide apart and toes touch. Stretching the arms out in front of you on the mat and resting the forehead either on the floor or bringing the hands into a fist, stacking them on top of each other and resting the head here, or using a block if you need to provide a bit more space for your baby. Taking a couple of breaths here just to ease into your pose. Breathing deeply. And then working your way up, coming to bring the knees together, stacking them underneath the hips. We're just going to work through the shoulders a little bit more today. So we're just going to start walking through to Anahatasana, opening hearts here, drawing the chest down. Bum stays directly over the knees as you draw the chest down towards the mat. Now it may only be just off the mat here, and that might be enough stretch for you. Or you can walk your way down a little bit more, maybe dropping the forehead, maybe drawing the chin forward if you've got no neck issues, towards the mat. Finding that stretch through the shoulder girdle, just opening up. And drawing your baby in towards your spine. And then walking back up. Bringing the hands slightly in front of your shoulders here, pressing into them, thumbs drawing down towards the mat. Index and middle fingers are pointing towards the short edge of the front of your mat, tucking the toes under. Coming into your first downward facing dog. So we're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths, trying to find that downward facing dog if this is your first flow of the day. Draw your bum right back towards your heels, really sit back on the heels. Pushing into the hands and rotating the upper arms forward to the front of the mat. Shift your bum back even further. Draw your hips towards the ceiling. Draw your baby in towards your spine, and then start to walk the heels out one at a time towards the mat. So walking through here, stretching out each hamstring one at a time. Trying to make sure that you're not dumping your weight into your wrists, which is the tendency when people start off in downward facing dogs. In pregnancy, your feet can be a little bit wider here just to accommodate the space you need in your hips. And then just settling for a couple of breaths in stillness here. Gaze is towards your belly button. Spine is long, really finding that stretch as if there's an imaginary belt around your hips, lifting you back diagonally towards the back of the room. And then starting to walk the hands back towards the feet. Holding opposite elbows, hanging in ragdoll, and just softening the neck, yes, no. Releasing everything out, releasing the arms now, rolling up one vertebra at a time. Head comes up last to standing. Shoulders draw down the back, palms face forward. So to begin with, we're going to be coming into our Tadasana pose. So this is really good to get your foundation here from all your standing poses. Will lead on from this good strong foundation. So toes lift up, placing the feet down onto the mat. Equal weight between the front and the back of the foot. So big toe, little toe, and heel act as your guide, pushing down equally into these 3 points of contact. Thighs engaged, belly draws in, drawing your baby back towards your spine, shoulders round, out, back and down the spine, palms face forward. Take a big inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhaling, bending the knees, drawing your chest. Bend the knees strongly here, enough as you need to bring your hands to the floor. Inhaling, coming up halfway, straight back, lengthening through the spine. Exhaling, hands down towards the mat once again. Walking the hands forward towards the front of your mat and dropping your knees. Zip your elbows in towards your rib cage and lower the body down into a baby push-up here. Inhaling, coming back up. Walking the hands back towards the back of your mat, fingertips face the toes, pushing into your hands, lifting the hips and strengthening, engaging through the thighs. Inhaling, exhaling, releasing, bum towards the heels again. Walking the hands forward. Pushing into the hands, tucking the toes, lifting up into another downward facing dog. Finding your downward facing dog, taking a breath to settle. Inhaling, left leg reaches up towards the sky, flexing through the heel. Drawing that knee forward towards the front of your mat on your exhale, pushing down. So coming into this high lunge position to begin with, walking your left foot to the side of the mat a little bit more to give your hips some space. We're going to be coming into a warrior one to begin with. So finding that foundation there, placing the right foot down towards the mat, 45 degrees towards the back of the mat, pushing into the big toe, little toe and heel of that back foot. Now concentrate on the front foot. So again, that foundation, that 3-point of contact, pushing in. Taking an inhale, engaging the pelvic floor, and as you exhale through the mouth, hold that pelvic floor to help support you as you come up into your warrior one. Drawing your shoulders down the spine, giving yourself space between your ears and your shoulders. Engage through the fingertips, sink a little bit lower. Push into the outside edge of that back foot. Now your hips may be pointing towards that right top corner of your mat, and that's absolutely fine if you find that ergonomically feels a little bit better for you. Traditionally, the right hip is drawn forward towards the short edge of the mat. So you're squaring your chest, you're squaring your hips slowly and gradually with your breath as you move towards the front of the mat. Releasing the arms once again. Take an inhale, lengthen, lifting, strengthening through the side of the body. Exhaling, releasing the hands down the back, interlacing the fingers and drawing the fists towards the floor. Inhaling, opening through the chest. Exhaling, drawing the chest forward into humble warrior. Lifting the arms up overhead and dropping the head and the chest inside that left thigh. Pushing into that back foot strongly still. Engaging that front foot. Taking another breath. And then exhaling, releasing the hands down towards the floor, coming back up into your warrior one position. Hands to the hips and then shifting the weight forward into the left foot. Slide that right foot in a little bit more. Now we're going to come into a warrior three. So if you're heavily pregnant and you're finding yourself a bit off balance, you may need to be next to a wall for this next pose. Pushing into that front foot, bend that front knee to begin with just to add some stability here. So seeing if you can keep your hands on your hips to begin with to help with you squaring your hips. Starting to shift your weight forward, lengthening through the body. Now maybe that back foot raises up off the mat, lengthening through the heel of that back foot. Now check your hips, square that right hip down a little bit more. Draw that right heel back, lengthen through the chest. Bring the hands to prayer in the center of the chest if you find yourself stable here. Lovely lengthening long T's from the foot to the head. And then exhaling, drawing that knee forward, seeing if you can find that balance still. We're going to come into a tree pose from here. So drawing that right knee in towards either the thigh below the knee or just resting by the ankle here. The whole point of this is a balancing pose to help us find stability, help us find focus. So wherever your foot is, it's absolutely fine. The point is find that drishti, that gaze point that's going to help you with your focus. Push into that supporting leg. Seeing if you can level your hips, lengthen through the side ribs. Bring the hands to prayer in the center of the chest, pushing the thumb into the sternum. Lift up, lighten the upper body. Maybe lift the arms up above the head. Inhale. Exhaling, opening the palms. Taking a breath, finding that stillness. It's often when the mind is wandering and the breath then becomes erratic that we lose our balance and our focus. So trying to reconnect with that breath, stilling the mind, finding that focus will help you in balance as it will in everyday life. Exhaling, hands together, drawing hands to the center of the chest once more. Hands to the hips to begin with, drawing that right knee in. So we're going to stay on this left leg. We're really strengthening this left leg now. Last one here. So drawing that right knee up to the chest, over the left knee. So we're going to come into eagle legs, Garudasana here. So you want to see if you can slide your right foot behind your left calf. That's the idea here. If you can't get it there, that's absolutely fine. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead. We're going to do the same with the arms now. So right arm sweeps under the left. Bring the palms together. Now, if that's too tricky for you, maybe just bring the backs of the hands together. Again, if that feels really awkward, if your breasts are particularly big in pregnancy, or just normally, that's absolutely fine again. Interlace the fingers and just draw the shoulders away from each other. So we're basically trying to open up through the shoulder girdle here. Bend down a little bit more, strengthening through those thighs. One more breath. Squeeze the thighs together here. And inhaling, coming back up. Bring the hands to the hips. Step that right foot back. Coming into warrior two. So right foot is at a 45-degree angle once again, as it was for warrior one. But the foot is, the back foot midpoint is in line with the front heel of the left foot. Sink down into your warrior two. Draw that right hip back as if there's a pane of glass between the front and the back of the body. Inhaling, arms come parallel to the mat. Sink down a little bit further. Zip up and lengthen through the sides of the body. Take another breath here. Inhaling, interlace the hands behind the back, make a fist. Draw the chest up and forward and draw that fist back down towards the floor. Sink down, opening through the chest here. Inhaling, lifting back up, palms towards the floor. Straighten that front leg. We're coming into a Trikonasana triangle pose now, shifting the weight forward over that left hand. Now you may want a block just here in front of you to rest your hand on. That's absolutely fine, and it can really help here with stability and finding that expression in the pose. Bring the right hand to the hip. The idea here is rotating the chest forward towards the ceiling. So if your hand's not on a block, then press it back of hand inside calf of that front leg. Releasing that right arm up the line between the top hand and the bottom hand, engaging through the fingers. Engage through that thigh of the left leg. So again, there's a tendency to hyperextend with a lot of people, especially in pregnancy. So make sure you're engaging that thigh to prevent that. You're strengthening the muscle rather than relying on sinking into the joint of that knee. Gazes up towards the top of the hand. And then inhaling, coming all the way back up. Draw yourself towards that right edge of your long edge of your mat. Now we're going to come into goddess pose. So bringing your hands to your hips, heels turn in, toes turn out, sinking down here, releasing the hands, cactusing the arms, inhaling, lengthening and lifting, exhaling, drawing down, inhaling, lengthen, lift. Exhaling, sinking down. One more. Inhaling through the thighs. Exhaling. Hands come towards the thighs now, and we're going to draw that right shoulder over towards the left thigh. Inhaling, coming back to center. Left shoulder draws to right thigh. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Right shoulder to left thigh. And inhaling, left shoulder, right thigh. Taking a little step around, we're going to come towards the back of your mat now, so over that right foot, placing the left hand, right hand to frame that front leg, stepping the right knee back, right hands pressed down into the floor, zipping the elbows in, and we're going to come into that baby push-up once again. Inhaling, lifting back up, drawing the hands to the back of the mat, fingertips towards the feet, lifting through the hips, opening through the chest. Exhaling, bum towards the heels. Coming back. Tucking the toes under, coming back into your downward facing dog, taking a breath here. Pushing into the hands, lengthening through the hips, stretching through the front of the body, guiding the chest down towards the floor. This time, right leg guides up towards the ceiling, heel lifts, toes point down. Draw the right knee forward towards the front of your mat, maybe helping it there. Walk the right foot to the side of the mat a little bit more to give yourself some space. Find that grounding and stability. Now, placing the left foot on the floor at 45 degrees, we're going to come up into our warrior one again on this side. So finding those points of contact, the big toe, little toe heel of both feet. Strong and firm into those foundations. Inhaling. Engage pelvic floor, exhaling, blowing out, holding the pelvic floor as you come up into your warrior one. Sinking down, either finding that top left corner of the mat or alternatively rotating the hips, chest, shoulders forward over that front leg. Shoulders draw down the back, opening up, lifting, sink down a little bit further. Exhaling, hands interlace in the non-habitual grip, the way that feels odd. Draw the fists down towards the floor, opening through the chest. Exhaling, sinking forward. Humble warrior. Lifting the arms overhead, feel that lovely stretch through the shoulders. Lengthen the body forward a little bit more as you draw your body down towards your mat. One more breath. And inhaling all the way up, pushing into the foot, engaging pelvic floor as you rise. Releasing the hands to the hips, stepping that foot forward a couple of inches, coming into your warrior three on this side. So we're going to slowly start to shift forward. If you used a wall on or a chair on one side, then use this on the other side to help you with your balance. Start to shift forward, bend that front knee just for a little bit extra balance and support to begin with. Lifting that left leg off the floor. Now, if it's off the floor, check you're squaring your hips, draw that left hip down a little bit more. Draw the chest forward. Flexing through that heel, lengthening through the chest. So this should feel a lovely lengthening stretch between the head and the heel of the back foot. Hands in prayer in the center of the chest if you're able to. Take another breath. Lengthen, move forward with the body. Bending that knee now as you draw the left knee forward. Coming into your tree pose, because that's now on the opposite side. So left heel, left foot towards the inner thigh, inner calf, or resting on the ankle. Bend and support that front knee, knee of your right standing leg. Strengthening through the hips, square the hips off so that they're nice and level, and then drawing the hands to the center of the chest. Find your gaze point, your drishti, that'll help you with your balance. Start to still the breath, still the mind. Maybe lift the hands up overhead. Maybe part the hands here, lifting up, lengthening through the side ribs. Find that you grow a little bit taller as you draw your arms up. Shoulders move down the back, not hunching through to the ears. Exhaling, hands come together. Draw down to the chest. Last one here, bend that knee for support. Now we're going to squeeze that left knee up towards the chest, hook it over the right knee. Tucking that left foot behind the right calf, inhaling, sweeping up. Left arm underneath the right arm, eagle arms on the opposite side. Hands squeezed together, or backs of hands together, or alternatively drawing the hands out in front of you and stretching forward. Drawing your baby in towards your spine, sinking down a little bit lower. And inhaling, coming back up, releasing hands to hips, stepping that left foot back to the back of the mat. Coming into your warrior two. So bringing that right heel in line with the middle point of the left foot is at 45 degrees. Really push into the back edge of that left foot. Sink down a little bit further. Draw this left hip back. Maybe you need to even lengthen your stance a little bit more here to help you squeeze down. Make sure knee is directly over ankle and not over forward of the ankle. Arms press up, lengthening through the top. Palms facing towards the floor. One more breath. Lengthen through the side ribs, exhaling, hands come to the non-habitual grip, opening through the chest. Sinking down, opening through the collarbones, the rib cage. And then releasing the hands, straightening that front leg, coming into Trikonasana on the opposite side. So again, you might want to shorten your stance a little bit, but legs stay in the same line up. Shifting the weight forward over that right leg until you can't go any further. Maybe bringing that block down inside the front leg. If not, back of hand comes to rest against the calf. And then releasing that left arm up if it feels comfortable to do so. So you're breathing and moving the whole time, inhaling, lengthening through the rib cage and spine, exhaling, rotating a little bit further round towards the sky. One more inhale, lengthen, exhaling, rotating, looking up, inhaling, looking down towards the floor, hand to hip, coming all the way back up. Facing the opposite side now, so we're coming to face the long edge of the mat, bringing the feet back into that goddess pose once more, sinking down, hands to the hips. This time bringing the hands behind you, inhaling, lengthening up, exhaling, sinking forward, hands over the head. Sink down a bit further with your bum, draw the fists overhead. One more breath. Exhaling, keeping the knees bent here, releasing the hands, placing the left hand on the floor, releasing up. Exhaling, right hand to the floor, left arm lifts up, stretching and twisting to the opposite side. Left hand comes down, releasing up. And last one, right hand comes to the floor, pushing down, twisting, left arm reaches up. Hands come down, walk to frame that front foot. Bend that right knee to the floor, left knee to the floor. Toes touch, knees apart. And rest the whole body down to your child's pose. So well done for practicing today, and thanks for joining me in this vinyasa flow. You might want to tag this onto one of the other active vinyasa classes to make a longer practice, but either way I would recommend you do is take a couple of minutes in Shavasana, either using the guided video on my channel or just taking a few moments on your own just to rest and consolidate your practice today. Have a lovely day and namaste. If you've enjoyed this class and would like access to more free videos, then don't forget to go ahead and click subscribe.